What's good, guys? This is Vahagraphy. I'm Vahagan, your rock and roll photographer. In this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about my experience using the Nikon Z 85mm 1.2 for the first time on an actual photo shoot. Taking pictures, portraits of an amazing person, talented singer, model, Andrea. First of all, I want to thank her. I want to thank Sith Sense helping me out. It was a great day. It was a great shoot with the Z9, with the 85-1.2 in my hand. First time shooting this lens on an actual shoot. Guys, I got a lot of comments on that video. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you haven't seen the video yet, I posted it, I think it was yesterday or the day before. I posted it Tuesday. It was yesterday. Time flies. But anyway, I posted it in the morning yesterday and I got some really awesome comments. People really they got something from that video. They want me to do more of that type of video. Less specs. They just want to see work in these reviews. And you know what? I didn't talk about specs. Maybe 10 seconds of the video was talking about the specs and scrolling the specs on the screen. But I got away from that. I said, let me show you guys what you can do with this lens, how it produces these images, how they look, shooting majority of the time full frame on a Z9, wide open at 1.2. Again, if you haven't checked that video out, I highly suggest, if you're interested in the Z85-1.2 lens, I suggest checking that out. If you're a portrait shooter, if you're a photographer, wedding photographer, you're shooting models, you're shooting people, I give you some examples of what I captured. I was using one light, off-camera flash. I was using high-speed sync. I was shooting wide open majority of the time. I used the Godox 8600 for the first part of the shoot, and we used the Westcott FJ 400 watt off-camera flash with the diffuser, with the dome, and the grid. Both flashes worked flawlessly with their respective triggers. High-speed sync on a Z9 and these lights work very, very well. So check out that video after you watch this video. I'll put the link in the description below and on top. Let's start with what I witnessed while shooting with this lens, how I felt with the Z9 and the 85, the new 1.2. It is 3 pounds. It's not a light lens. It's a beefy lens. It feels really good in my hands and what I was doing. The weight, the size did not really get in my way. For what this lens is, for what it produces, I have to understand that in order to get that look, and we'll talk about that in a second, but in order to achieve the 1.2, in order to achieve the quality that this lens renders, the size just has to be there. There's no other way around the size and weight. I understand that there's a lot of glass in there. The 85-1.8 versus the 1.2. You know, I've owned the 1.8 for a while, and if you're wondering, is it worth the investment? Should I get the 1.2 versus the 1.8? Well, it depends, guys. It depends on if you want that 1.2, if you appreciate the look, that 3D pop. I gotta be careful. I don't really say pop too much in the mic. It's gonna really mess up the audio, but you want that 3D rendering. Guys, I have some image samples also on Instagram right now. Go to Vahagraphy on Instagram. Follow me there, but today I posted a story on one of the images I shot with the 85-1.2. You can just see right on your iPhone, even with your iPhone, you can see the subject isolation that this lens produces with the right lighting, of course. But you can just see how special this lens is. So back to if you want to buy the 1.2 and versus the 1.8. Will you be happy with the 85-1.8? Of course, that lens is small and light and cheap. When I say cheap, I don't mean cheap as in it sucks. No, I mean money-wise. It's cheaper than the 85-1.2. The 85-1.2 is 3 times the price. Is it 3 times the lens? Yes, it is, guys. If you want that 1.2 look, like I said, I have the 50-1.2. I shoot the 50-1.2 at 1.2 the majority of the time. And I will be doing the same with the 85-1.2. You don't buy the 1.2 to shoot at f2. I buy this lens to shoot at 1.2. I want that look, guys. So if you're wondering if you should buy this lens or you're happy with the 85-1.8, you invest almost $3,000 for the 1.2? You want that look, that magic, that glow that this lens produces, because it's night and day when you compare it with the 85-1.8. Sure, you're going to get that subject isolation, but it's not going to be as special as the 1.2. You're not going to get that flare, that amazing look that you get from this special exotic 85. So is it worth it? Do you need it? You can get the job done with a less expensive lens, of course. Is this lens worth the money? To me, it is. The shots that I took in this video that I'm referencing, this is right up my alley. This is my forte. I shoot portraits, I shoot weddings, I shoot people. Now, how it feels in the hands, it's heavy, but I think it feels good in my hands. I thought it balanced well. It really wasn't an issue shooting. I wasn't shooting with the tripod. I wasn't shooting with anything. It's just in my hands. And the whole time, I didn't complain once, because it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, it's a big setup. The Z9 is not a small camera. However, the balance of the lens with the Z9 in my hand, it just felt right to me. The images look great. And if I'm going to feel a little discomfort, it's totally worth it at the end, because I want that look. The autofocus speed, let's talk about that. The autofocus speed is quick. It's fast. It's probably the fastest 85mm lens I've ever used. The performance alone is just remarkable. The speed of the autofocus tracking on the Nikon Z9 works well. Now I used the 85-1.2 with the Z9 and the Z6. It's good on the Z6. It's fine, but it's so much better on the Z9. It feels like this lens was made for the Z9 camera. The focus is smoother, it's faster, it's a little quieter too. It just works better. It works better on the Z9 than it did on the Z6. Again, the Z6 was great. The focus, it tracked okay, and you still get the job done on the Z6. However, it's right on a Z9. So when the Z8 comes out, I'm expecting the Z8 to have the same internals or almost the same performance, same processor as the Z9. I'm expecting for the lens to perform just like it did for me on the Z9. As far as the images, let's talk about the images. There's a lot of discussion online about, is this lens sharp at 1.2? Is it sharper than X? Is it sharper than Y? This lens performs very, very well. You're shooting portraits. How sharp do you want that shot? Trust me, at 1.2, this thing is unbelievable. It's sharp. At 1.2, this lens is sharp. Wide open, it probably is the best lens I've shot autofocus from the Z lineup. Is it sharper than the 1.8 wide open? Guys, it's different. The 1.8 might be sharp wide open, but when you stop the 1.2 down to 1.8, it smokes the 1.8. 1.8 to 1.8, it smokes the 1.8. You get a better background blur with the 11 diaphragm blades. Okay, this lens has 11 diaphragm blades, just like the Noct 58mm 0.95 lens. This lens is unique. It has 11 diaphragm blades. You're gonna get that buttery smooth bokeh. This lens really reminds me of a 200mm f2 lens in the way it renders the background. It's smooth. It looks great while shooting at 1.2, and it's got just the amount of sharpness that I need for my subjects. I don't want it really razor sharp. You want razor sharp? Stop it down a little bit. but it is sharp enough. It's good enough. And it's probably the sharpest lens at 1.2 that Nikon makes, that any lens, any manufacturer makes. So I got a question today, actually, asking me, okay, I have money for one lens. Which one should I buy? The 50-1.2 or the 85-1.2? They're both incredible glass. They're both great lenses. For me, I can't separate the two. I want both of them. But if you need to have one, guys, you have to realize, what are you shooting? What's your focal length of choice the majority of the time? Keep in mind that the 50-1.8 lens is an awesome lens. So if you want to buy the 85-1.2 to have the 1.2 in your camera bag and have the 50-1.8, that's fine. Which one you should pick, that's totally up to you. Now, the 85 is going to be more expensive than the 50-1.2. They're both different lenses, but I think they're very similar at the same time. They're different, but very similar at the same time. The 50-1.2 is a very, very unique 50 millimeter autofocus lens. You know that, I know that. It's hard to pick one of the two. If you can buy both, buy both. If you don't mind the size, buy both, for sure. But if you have to have one, figure out what you shoot more, what focal length you shoot more, and go from there. In a perfect world, I'll have both of these lenses. As far as the contrast goes, again, the contrast and colors out of the box is incredible. I'm in love. Pair it with the Z9 and you get an awesome file straight out of the camera. You get an image that just looks beautiful. Beautiful. And for me, having that 3D with the wide area box autofocus, where the eye tracking was just working amazingly. You saw the video, and if you haven't, again, the link is in the description. I do record my EVF. It's just easy. You point, you compose, your flash is ready to go with the high-speed sync, with the trigger, and you just bam, 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 shoot. You know, Andrea was asking me, did you take the picture? I didn't hear the shutter. The C9 is incredible, guys. With HSS, doing portraits, it's just so awesome. It's different. I've never shot a setup like this where, number one, the eye tracking was working fast and accurately. And number two, there's no shutter. There's no shutter. My flash is set up. The trigger, I was shooting it sometimes at 2,000, 4,000 shutter speeds. With HSS, what more can a photographer ask for? The AD600 does a good job overpowering some situations with the bright sunlight. You know, you need a powerful flash unit to get that look. I don't think you can do it with a speed light, even at full power. You can get away with it, but these flash units that I was using had the Bowens mount. I can adapt any modifier I want. And one light setup, all those images in that video that I mentioned is a one light setup. I came home feeling great. I came home realizing that I had a good time. And the results for me shooting portraits for many years with DSLRs, it's a breeze to me, you know. You don't have to mess with the single focus point. You don't have to mess with all that. Make sure the focus point, you know, focus, lock, and recompose. None of that. The camera just does its thing. Of course, there'll be situations where you do need to control your own focus point. Maybe they're wearing some kind of outfit, hats, glasses. But with eye tracking, flawless operation with the Z9. So I couldn't be happier, guys. As far as the images go, like I said, contrast, the thing blows the 85-1.8 away. It does not back focus at all. In certain distances, I would notice that the 85-1.8 would not really lock on to the target. It would sometimes back focus when I'm a certain distance away from the subject. Nothing like that with the 1.2. I get better contrast, better colors, better background blur, faster lens. I noticed that the 8518Z would make a little bit of a noise when focusing. You can hear something in there, but with the 1.2, it's silent, it's quiet. Let's talk about video. Doing video with the 1.2, again, guys, separation of background, the stability, the camera IBIS worked flawlessly again. Handheld video shoots with the Z9, you're shooting 10-bit, 265. The whole time I'm doing 4K 120. It's just a powerful workhorse in your hand. If you're a filmmaker, if you're a wedding videographer, if you're a guy there shooting B-roll for your clients, dude, just point and shoot. Leave it at 1.2, and you're going to get stunning footage for video. You saw what I produced. I mean, that background blur is creamy. It's bokeh-licious. And yet at 1.2, the eyes are sharp. Great lens, guys. Nikon, you really hit it out of the park. Now, I will be producing more reviews like this in the future because I just fell in love. I fell in love with just showing you guys images, showing you guys, I don't do a lot of that. And I asked myself why. I want to show you guys some of my portrait work, and you got a little taste of what I do for a living in that video. This is what I do, guys. I might not show it off that much on my channel, but there's a taste of what I actually shoot day in and day out for my clients. So take a look at that video, guys. And again, if you were to ask me, should you buy this lens? I tell you yes. Heck yes. It's worth it. It's worth every penny. $2,800 for an 85 1.2 lens. It's probably the best 1.2 I've ever used. I've used the Canons. I've had a few other fast aperture lenses, but this one, autofocus, blows a lot of that stuff, a lot of those lenses out of the water. How does it compare with my Noct? Well, the Noct is a totally different animal, guys. Which lens do I like better? Well, the Noct is in a league of its own, I think. For me, the Noct has a special place in my arsenal, in my heart. It's just a special piece of glass. And if manual focus, no problem. I don't care. By the way, guys, there'll be more Noct files in the future. Some of you guys are asking me if that's it. 3 video done. No, there's a few videos I have lined up with the Noct files to end that series up. But that's coming later on. And we're just going strong, guys. I'm enjoying Vahagraphy. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the videos I produce. And there'll be more on the way for sure. Let me address this really quickly. I started a channel documenting my workouts, my fitness, and my weight loss challenge. I decided to can the project, the YouTube channel. It was just too much to handle at the time, too much on my plate. So I said, you know what, let me stop that, but let me still continue what I'm doing. It's been 1 month. No, in 3 or 4 days, it's going to be 1 month exactly since I started my lifestyle change again, eating clean, working out, walking on a regular basis. It's going to be 1 month, and again, like Monday, it's going to be 1 month, and I feel great. I feel great. I'm going to continue this, but I'm not going to document it. I'm just going to do my own thing. And if you guys want to reach out to me and, email me in the comments or whatever, and, I'm all ears for you guys. If you need encouragement to do this, let's do it together. As far as that channel goes, again, I was starting to feel burned out. I started to feel the pressure, and I just canned it, guys. But again, like I said, I haven't stopped my goals, my fitness goals. It's going strong. I'm feeling great, and there's no going back for me. So that's that, guys. Vahagraphy talk. Again, I'm planning every Tuesday at 11. Yesterday, again, I was so burned out with the wedding I shot on the weekend and the shoot on Sunday, the editing on Monday, that I just needed 1 day off to just kind of like recharge my batteries. So, but my plan is to do the Vahagraphy talks Tuesday at 11 o'clock, starting this coming Tuesday next week. We'll start that again back up. All right, guys. So if you're wondering if the 85-1.2 is worth it for you, if it's good for you, get it. If you can afford it, if the wifey's not gonna kill you or anything like that, if you don't have to pay bills with the money, if you have a little bit of coin saved up and you really want to treat yourself to something special, you want to get the next best great Z lens for your cameras, then I strongly suggest the 85Z 1.2 lens. I'll leave you with this. For those of you asking me more of these type videos that I was referencing earlier or on this video, more of those sample images and portrait session videos, don't worry about it, guys. More on the way. I know what you guys want. I know what you guys like. And this channel is not only for me, but it's for you. It's for you guys. So I got you. I hear you. And I'll be producing more and more of that too. Okay, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. This is Vahagraphy. I'm Vahagan, your rock and roll photographer. See you later.